Alysse Bowed, and this is Loves Me, Loves Me Not. It all started with my fear of changing my title. I loved being a Miss, and I had to become a Mrs. And even though there was so much happiness in becoming a Mrs., I was a little bit terrified of losing that title. So I started to think about all of the titles that I get to have as a woman. And all of these things for me rotated around that idea of the presence of love in my life or the absence of love in my life, and how the sort of ebb and flow of love coming and entering changed who I am. And so there's 60 bottles, and each are assembled with 3 different types of flowers, because each flower holds itself a theme or a word or a phrasing, and by wearing those flowers or holding those flowers, you can project those words. And so people are coming in and they're selecting a flower and they're thinking of someone. They're thinking of someone from their past or their present. They're thinking of all different types of love. And after they've sort of torn each of those petals from the flower, they tell me the fate. They tell me whether indeed that person they've been picturing loves them or loves them not. And we are keeping a tally of the love in the room. The love is completely winning over the Loves Me Not. And so there must be this really great vibe of love in the air right now. This form of hand building, I kind of just developed over time. I love detail and I love the cleanliness of my working and sort of the surgical qualities. I like to talk about my work as if I'm stepping into my daydream and I'm able to smuggle these objects back with me. And there's that sort of magic about being an adult, that we can step into our imagination and actually create things from that. I can make room-size forts. There's things that I'm allowed to do as an adult that I could only dream of as a child, and so I can bring those elements into reality. It's really important for me for people to get in nice and close, to handle my work. My work is so fragile, it becomes these sort of treasured objects. And so many times we have a treasured object, they live or exist on these mantles, they live out of reach. And so by bringing people in and asking them to play, I'm sort of breaking down that barrier, and that barrier that a museum or a gallery puts into context, but also the barrier that fragility puts upon my work. I think about myself in a lot of sort of seamstressy terminology. I use rolling pins and I roll my clay out incredibly thinly. I dart and I make templates. I keep my surface very clean. I have lots of sort of rows of tools happening about me, so everything feels very like a clean tailoring room. And I begin to fold and layer and curl my clay. And the show here is working with porcelain, and I'm really trying the porcelain. I'm testing it. I'm pushing it past its boundaries, because porcelain doesn't like to be twisted. It doesn't like to be curled. So I'm really pushing that sort of realm there. It affects my everyday. I'm constantly thinking about art. Art isn't something that I can set aside. And so for me, it's so crucial that I focus on something that is completely magical, and that I can project that onto other people, that I can ask and invite people into that same space. It was actually put together by Karen, and it's wonderful when people see something in both of your work and put you together, and you can kind of play off each other. So we got talking about that obvious intrigue into whimsy that we both share, and laughter. I mean, I don't think you can help but look at her wonderful paintings over there and have a little giggle.
Hi, I'm Angie Rees, and I've got an exhibition right now with Alysse Bowed at Bluerock Gallery. I work predominantly from my imagination, and I'm working on sort of whimsical subject matter. People ask me all the time where my ideas come from, and I would say that it's a bit like a popcorn machine. I just have these little ideas that go off in my head, but I'm inspired by puns and wives' tales and jokes and funny things that I've seen, and I try and sort of capitalize on that. I find doing my paintings, when I do the painting, the title is like the thing that will allow you to put the cherry on top of the sundae. It's the thing that helps you define it, just that extra little bit that your brush can't quite do. I think I am meaning to be funny, but I think I am naturally kind of funny, and I naturally find humor in things. I do love watching comedy. I grew up in a house with a dad who was an English professor who was always doing puns, and we did crosswords, cryptic crosswords, and just had a lot of fun with language. 13 years ago, I had a son, and at that time I just felt like when I was sort of introducing him to the world, I had my imagination cracked open. It was just the way he perceived things, and because I was working with children so much, I was kind of in a make-believe place, and I started to realize that I liked that place a little better than just painting things from life. With this one, it is animals, and it does tend to be a lot of rural animals, and I think it's just inspired by the setting. Like you might have stubborn goats or things like that, or sheeps are always so passive. You feel like you could put curlers in them. I love painting, I love what I do, and I feel pretty joy-filled most mornings when I get to go downstairs and just take a little idea out of my sketchbook and turn it into something. You know where the color comes from? I'm stuck in the basement. I have no window, and that's why the color is what it is. I make up whatever world I want. I like to say I'm reaching out and kind of tickling the viewer a bit. But it comes really naturally to me, and I don't think I could be grown up if I tried. I love it when people come and they start reading the titles and have a laugh, because I can see then the transmitted message, so to speak, has hit its audience. And I love it when people share a story too and it reminds them of something else. There's a communication going on. You know, it's beyond just admiring a painting because of its aesthetic properties. It seems to make a connection. I think it gives us a different perspective on life. You see the world through somebody else's eyes when you look at art. An artist is basically the medium. They're transmitting what they see, and you have an opportunity to see a different perspective on it that can be contained in a small canvas. It's meant to be lighthearted, and it's meant to sort of play on puns and wives' tales and all kinds of things. Things that will make you, sort of provoke you to think about something in a different light. About a year ago, I was in Bluerock dropping off some work, and I can never seem to leave this place without picking something up. And 3 of Alysse's little beautiful vessels caught my eye on the way out, and I picked them up and I brought them home, and I've cherished them for the whole year. And I love Alysse's work, all the little fine detail, the buttons, the stitches, and those are things that are important to me in my own work. I don't like leaving little details out, and so I find that there's something about her work that just has this kind of intimate quality, intimate and gorgeous. So I'm really flattered to be paired with her.